Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! Today it's going to be a match between Terror and Sea here on Fighting Spirit. Bottom left-hand corner, it is the blue Protoss player sea.kh, and in the bottom right it is Terror under his well-known Smurf name 1A, 2A, 3A. Alright man, let's see how Terror does against Sea. I think I cast a game between these two players a couple of months ago. Maybe 4 or 5 months, but time has no meaning anymore here in quarantine land. Yeah. So, my state has, I don't know. The COVID cases keep going up, and we have masks, protests about masks, and 2020. What cannot you do? Overlord scouting the correct direction. Probe scouting the correct direction. Is this a cross spawn scout? Oh, no it is not. Alright, man. Okay, so both players scouting the correct direction for the first time here on this 4-player map. You don't see that very much. Anyway, a 9 pool here. From Terror. Safe, economical, standard. So this means it's going to throw down a forge and maybe 1 cannon, maybe 2, depending on how many lings pop out here from Terror. And then a Nexus. So, safe build versus safe build. Terror, again, has no idea that C is down over here in this bottom left-hand corner, but he also guessed correctly with his scouting. Alright, so Terra's going to go 11 hatch here. 9 pool, 11 hatch. Overlord, going to sit out here just to make sure no cannons come up or anything crazy like that. And here's the pool. Now here's where you want to see. How many lings come out of these eggs? Well, right now 1 set of lings, which is really not even worth worrying about. But it could be another pair here as 50 minerals comes up, and it is. It's 2 sets of lings. Still, 1 cannon is really going to be worth it at this stage of the game. Nexus coming up. There's your cannon. And the lings are popping. Is the drone actually just going to get out? The drone is actually trying to kill this, or trying to kill this probe here. They're both trying to kill each other. I'm going to send that drone back on home. So the lings are out. And how many are there? I don't know how many there are, but he's going to lead them on a merry chase. And yeah, I mean, at this point, the lings aren't even going to really necessarily try to get through here, I don't think. I mean, yes, you're going to test the defenses a little bit. Make sure there's at least 1 cannon up, which he knows happens because he had the Overlord come in. He sees it. He took a shot from the cannon, so he knows there's a cannon here. So yeah, I mean, the lings are just basically here to make sure, are there any zealots? They're going to come out across the map and try to kill me soon. Probe's getting pulled. Wow, against 3 lings? I mean, sure, I guess so. Better safe than sorry here. You don't want any lings inside your base at this stage of the game. It's going to be a bad thing for the Protoss player. So we shall call it good. Probe coming in again. Just trying to make sure it's not some kind of a crazy ling flood or something nuts like that, and really gets a nice scout off to see that no, it's definitely not. Mainer transfer coming down to the natural base. And so far so good. 3rd base coming up from Terror. Really just macroing his face off right now. And the 3rd base gets scouted and says, okay, so this is not some kind of a crazy 2-base speedling flood style play that would really suck to hold off. Getting a Zealot to help hold this wall. Cybernetics core should be coming. There it is. Cybernetics core inside the main base. And C's playing this pretty darn well. Throwing about 400 APM at the moment. Lair coming in. Recognizing the potential threat of Corsairs. This Overlord still able to scout around and just see that Cybernetics core timing. Will be able to see what the next building is too. Just because you don't get any Dragoons until the Cyber core is done. And you don't want to wait for that first Dragoon to finish before you get your tech if you're C. So I'd say Terror's in a really good spot here. He's got his 3rd base. He recognizes there's no crazy aggression coming out from the Protoss player. He sees the 2 lings, and he can watch them very closely to see if they're going to try to come kill stuff, or if this is just a feint. And so far, it seems like the Zealots are going to try to do something. At the very least, they're going to force additional Zerglings out of Terror, not allow him to just drone up for the first 5 minutes here. He's going to have to make at least another couple sets of lings. And then look, the Zealots are just going home. It's just such a great little move. Because look, 2 sets of lings come in. Those could be 2 more drones. And 2 drones at this stage of the game are really going to snowball, and, you know, your economy is going to have a bad time because of it. Spire coming up, but the probe did end up scouting that, so he knows it's going to be Scourge versus the Stargate, and the Overlord scouted the presence of the Stargate and is getting out of there as fast as it can. I probably did end up seeing the Citadel of Adun as well, if I had to guess. And so far, yeah, I mean, both players making some really good moves, some really standard moves as well. Hasn't taken a second gas yet, so I don't think it's going to be Mutalisks per se. We're just looking at a couple Scourge to handle the Corsairs that are moving out, and then we'll see how many Corsairs are being committed to by sea here. I mean, at least one, obviously. And this timing's gonna be alright. There's gonna be a little bit of a window where a Corsair is killing Overlords, where there's really not gonna be enough to stop it. But eventually Scourge will pop, and I think no more than one Overlord will go down, depending on how well this is defended. And I mean, the fact that the Overlords are kind of in random spots. None of them are here in the main base or in the natural base at all. Oh, I'm getting a Hydralisk Den. So a Spire and a Hydra Den here. So this feels like a Hydra Lurker play, maybe with some Scourge support against Corsairs as necessary. Pretty decent build. Third base getting saturated here for Terror. 31 drones to 32 probes. There you go. First set of Scourge coming in. Corsair is here. And again, if there was an Overlord, it'd be in trouble. But there's not one here in the main base. There's not one in the natural base either. And I think the Corsair is going to be like, what? What? Well, maybe we get some DTs then if there's no detection around these bases. And in fact, it is a DT. So, I wonder if that's what happened. He scouts and sees, okay, there's no Overlords and no Spores at these bases at all. I wonder if DTs would be incredibly effective. And you know what? He's going to try it, at least with one Dark Templar. Where'd that Overlord go? I don't know. Cannon here, you got to be able to fall back to a cannon if you're getting chased by Scourge, which is definitely going to happen. Dragoon trying to get some shots off on these Scourge too. There you go. Just enough to shove them out of the neighborhood. It's a nice scout, but does take 2 shots, and one of the Scourge does go down. DT is out, which means we actually need Overlords back covering this natural base ASAP. There's an Overlord protecting the third base, which is nice. Overlord in the vicinity of the natural, so should be just fine against the Dark Templar. And this is really just going to be a poke more than anything else. Force some more units out. But I mean, we're making a lot of Hydras. We're making 6 Hydras at a time. We're at 32 workers on 3 bases. This really feels like a bit of a Hydra timing, which is why Overlord movement is coming in. Because he recognizes if there's DTs defending, I need an Overlord in the close vicinity of that attack. If Overlords are slow, that's not going to happen. So Overlord speed kicks in just now. Storm is on the way. So here's the window. You're going to show up with a ton of Hydralisks and a ton of Lings before Storm finishes, and you're going to have a better time. Overlord does get killed. Maybe a couple Scourge flying around this natural base. Probably Scourge. Oh, that's a supply block on Terror. So probably that. No, you can't lose the Overlord, though. Oh, Terror. Sloppy play. He's got another Overlord coming from the north, which maybe he'll do a better job keeping track of. This Dark Templar, though, he's got 2 kills, and he's going to escape. That's insanity. So Storm about 60% complete here. Here is the window of the attack. This is why you have the Zealots. It's for this specific reason. Speed is not done on the Zealots. They're not going to be very good at chasing down, unfortunately. Here for C, Corsair's going to find another Overlord. 1 Hydra is not enough of a deterrent. And Terror's going to be further supply blocked. He's already supply blocked. He's going to be worse. C is supply blocked too. And it looks like Terror's just going to give up on attacking into this natural base at all. So he pulls back. He falls back. He recognizes Storm's going to be done any second. Let's get Lurker Aspect. Let's get armor upgrades. And I assume at this point we're just trying to go to Hive. I mean, how much Storm dodging do you want to do? How much Lurker spread are you comfortable with here against C? C's APM cruising into the thousands off the side of the screen, mind you. That's how ridiculous this is at the moment. But yeah, look at these Corsairs, man. It's a group of 4 Corsairs. It's not 6, it's not 8, it's not 10. Okay, now it's 1 less. That was a little bit careless by C, unfortunately. But the supply block, man. The supply block is real. This is such great Corsair play, minus losing the 1. It's been incredible Corsair play. Zealots have speed now. They're attacking with their +1 attack. Hydras have no armor upgrades or attack upgrades at all. And the Zealots are going to have a pretty good time here. They're going to trade pretty darn well. Oh, was that a... They sniped one of the High Templar before it could get anything done. Another one gets sniped? Dude, Terror doing some beautiful High Templar sniping. Another one goes down. There's only one at the front here without energy to do anything whatsoever. Holy cannoli. And the Corsairs get wiped out. This was going so well. This was going so well for C, and suddenly, no. Oh, the counterattack. Like, how many more High Templar do you have? That's a great question. Alright, so checking to make sure there's not a third base here for Terror. 85 to 91 total supply. And now that the Corsairs got wiped out, Mutalisks are suddenly much, much more effective. There's one Corsair here. That's not enough. It's got Scourge on his tail. Definitely got them Scourge on your tail, friend. That is a heading home style scenario. So now we've got Mutalisks and Hydralisks with Lurker Tech and a Lurker on the way. Some Zerglings here too. And this is so bad for C. I mean, the Mutas are just cruising in, picking off individual probes here. C's down to 36 probes at 11 minutes. He was feeling pretty comfortable. Scourge, no, not able to get the Corsairs. Nice target firing there by those Dragoons, but more and more probes going down. This looks extremely dangerous for C. Yeah, 46 to 31 workers, 101 and 91 total supply. No, this is not a game that is meant to be won by the Protoss player. If he pulls this out, I'm going to be incredibly, incredibly impressed here. My gosh. Macro Hatch coming up this third base. Still no third for the Protoss. So Terror feels no need to go for a third base himself. He's replenishing the Corsair count a little bit. He's making another one. He's got 3. We're going to move up to 4. He's trying to drive the Mutalisks out of existence here. But Lurkers coming in. Hydra's here too. That's a lot of Zealots, but you know what? There's a lot of Lurkers and Hydras. Lurker Hydra really tears up Zealots pretty effectively if they can work together. I heard that Archon merge. Here you are. Archon merge. The merging is complete. Queen's Nest on the way. I assume we're going to see a Hive sooner rather than later here for Terror. And alright, we're going to move out with a bunch of Zealots. 2 High Templar. Okay, wait. 3 High Templar. An Archon and some Corsairs. And try to establish ourselves a third base. Yeah, the Mutalisks, I just don't know that they're going to have a fantastic time with this. Although, Scourge hit is a Scourge hit. Definitely true. That Zealot count is just nasty at the moment with their +2 attack and their speed as well. Trying to make sure the third base doesn't come up, and C's like, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable with this third base concept. More and more Hydras in production. There's a Hive on the way now for Terror. Overlord down, and it's not again not a supply block. That was some really nice Scourge hits. The Mutas are trying to pick off the High Templar, but the Archon splash damage and the Corsair splash damage is crazy. The Dragoons doing +2 damage to them too is also very bad. Coming in. This is a lot of Protoss all of a sudden. There's no Dark Swarm for these Lurkers if the Dragoons can stay alive, and it looks like they certainly can. And there's detection available, and there's 2 observers here. Oh man, if the Zealots are working together with Dragoons without any Hydra support, the Lurkers can go down. But more and more Hydras are pushing up here. This is just the macro of Terror coming on in. Oh man, Hydralisks. This is a close engagement right now. Lurker's definitely getting picked out of the ground here. Do they want to chase? Do they want to fall back? It looks like they want to chase a little bit. Still no third base, man. C still is not interested in a third base at all. Lurkers stabbing away, taking out a couple of the Zealots, but reinforcements coming from the south right now. These Lurkers are all dead. We've been swinging back and forth on the supply count for the last couple of minutes. It was up for C, then it's down for C. Now it's back up for C, then it was down for C. It's just a 3-basing 43 worker Zerg is pretty scary if you don't have a lot of Storm. Look at these Hydras just tearing into these Dragoons with their +1 armor. I thought they'd have an attack upgrade by now, but they're working on it, I guess. And there we go. The upgrade's benefiting Sea immensely in that situation. Man, Zealots. This is just such a great engagement right now. This is a really, really nice game. DT's in the mix. At 15 minutes, we're under 100 supply each for both players, which really means a lot as far as how scrappy and awesome this game happens to be. Yeah, he's like, you know what? You don't have any Dark Swarm. My Dragoons have way more utility than they ever should have at this stage of the game. Just popping out more Hydras all the time. I think Terror feels like he's on the back foot. He doesn't feel like he can move out. He doesn't feel like he can tech up. He needs enough Hydras to defend this front door pressure from the Protoss, which the Protoss is not using this to take a third base, which I'm very concerned about. The fact that he's at 2 bases right now does not bode well for him in the long run, but if he can, if he can win this fast, then sure, entirely possible. Sunken Colony coming up. Oh, sniping off an observer there. There's another one on the field for C. The Hydra's coming to try to attack the backside. High Templar has not enough energy for anything but a lot of HP and shields, which is nice. The Zealot trying to finish off Sunken by himself. That's probably not going to happen. Observer still sitting here. This is absolute chaos. Some might even say it is abject. Overlord's getting picked off 92 to 69 supply. This feels like, I don't know, man. I hesitate to call this, but C is doing some really good things, including potentially sniping this Hydra. He's going to get it. What? 17 HP? Okay, he's going to come back for more. He'll come back for round 2 on that Hydralisk Den. I believe it. Please come back for the Hydralisk Den. No, but hey, it doesn't have much HP, though. C, friend, get the Hydralisk Den. Tickle it. Okay, he tickled it. It's dead now. Excellent news for all Protoss everywhere. C is down 30 supply right now. The Observer gets sniped. The Lurker's effectiveness somehow becomes a lot better. Is this, can he hold with a couple Lurkers and some Lings and some Hydras here? He's down in a lot of supply. C is committing to this, friends. Man, Scourge getting absolutely destroyed right there. But the good news for Terror is he hasn't lost a base yet. He hasn't lost many drones. Sure, he's down to 36, but it's not like he was completely destroyed there. Or is he taking a third base right here? Right in the front door of... This game is bananas. This is a really, really, really good non-stop game right now. I cannot believe how long this particular engagement seems to have been going on. They got the other Observer. A lot of Scourge died for that Observer. That's a lot of blood. Another Observer in production. I have to assume there's another one on the way. Yes, there is already. With another one in production at that Robo. Still, Terror. I don't know that he feels like he has the time to tech into Dark Swarm, which would definitely change this whole game. Into Dark Swarm and into Plague. But trying to win this thing with just Naked Lings, Hydras, and Lurkers against a Zealot, Dragoon, High Templar army with 3-3 upgrades, mind you, on these gateway units. Against 2-1 upgrades. The upgrades are just not good. There's no melee attack upgrades. There's +1 missile attack. Terror has just been absolutely forced to defend and defend and defend for the last, it feels like about 10 minutes. Look at this. He just has enough +3 Zealots. Another Observer snipe, though. And another Observer snipe. Like, Terror is staying in this game by the virtue of Observer snipes, friends. Holy smokes. Alright, well, the Lurkers, again, the Lurkers are holding this off because there are no Observers. If there are Observers, these Lurkers would not be enough. But there are. There we go. Now an Observer is here. The Lings are going to try to run down here and get rid of this third base from all sides. And I don't know if they're going to be able to... Oh, man. Do they have Adrenal? I think they have Adrenal. They're attacking real fast. And that Nexus is going to die. All right, so Terror, that was huge. That was a massive blow to Sea's ability to win this game. I mean, Sea is still up 179 supply, so we're just evenly scraping it out at the moment. More and more Lings coming in, and he's like, you know what? I don't even need Dark Swarm. Your Zealot count seems a little bit low. Well, you know what? There are 3/3 Zealots, man. I know you have Adrenal, but you have no attack upgrades. It's not great. He has, I mean, 400. There we go. Now it's time to replant this third, which again, right in Terror's back door. I mean, Terror's supply blocked. He is trying to sneak a fourth base up top, but I don't know that he has the wherewithal to defend it as well as his natural and third bases. So he's going to really hope that Sea doesn't see that. Catching a couple free Dragoons out in the middle of the map, wiping them out effectively. Although that one manages to survive. His Zealot buddies show up to save him. What is he? Okay, now he's leaving some Dragoons. Dark Templar, High Templar. I don't know that Dragoons are going to be enough, man, but sure. You can, you know, send what you can, I guess. If he can see this and kill it, massive, massive, massive move for Terror here. These Lings are just being absolute pests. I can't believe that probe is alive. I can't believe that probe is alive. Dude, the Ling run by into this base would be disgusting. And instead, they're just going after the probes that are long-distance mining from this third base and trying to get as many 3 kills as he can without taking any damage from cannons or defending Dragoons. This is kind of amazing. I don't know why the long-distance mining is even being attempted. Finally, Terror feels like he has the time to go for a Defiler Mound. This group of Lings has been incredibly good. DT checking. He is checking this top side for additional bases because that's the natural progression for expansion here on Fighting Spirit. He's not going to check this for a minute, and that might actually give Terror the time to defend it adequately. He already has about 30 Lings up there, it feels like. It's a lot of Zerglings, some Lurkers. Maybe an expansion attempt over here from C2. I love it. This has been scrappy. A scrappy match for sure. I mean, Terror's at 88 supply blocked at 22 minutes. That's how scrappy this game has been. But it seems to be stabilizing for both players at this moment. Again, we finally get a Defiler Mound. We finally get Consume. Finally getting a Nidus Canal up so he can defend this fourth base if necessary. And he gets away with it. It never gets scouted. This Dark Templar never heads over that direction. And will, probably at this point, but it's going to be too late to do anything about it. What is this blue? Oh, there's an observer just sitting right here. Okay. Is that another attempt to expand? It's really weird to me he's not expanding up here. The Dark Templar agrees, by the way. He's like, why is he not expanding up this direction? Okay, bunch of Lings just got caught out and just massacred by these 3/3 Zealots. Speedlots, if you will. I really feel like a Plague upgrade would be nice here from Terror. He's probably going to get it after Consume. If not immediately, I would be shocked if he didn't get it at some point here in this match. So Zealot finally scouts this and says, aha, you did have a fourth base. I've been bamboozled. Well, let's try to kill that, I guess. And I don't know. I don't know if there's enough Protoss to do that now. We've got a couple Lurkers, bunch of Zerglings. I guess you storm the Lings at the top of the ramp. You kill the Lurkers with support of your detection and your +3 Dragoons. You're going to be okay, but this is definitely a Dark Swarm Ling attack. There's Archons in the mix and High Templar, though. So, like, I don't know if this is going to work out. Scourge going after them Observers. They find nothing at all. That's a hold, man. That's a hold. How about this? Oh, it does get the Observer. Man, Terror's Observer sniping has been just disgustingly good today. Dude, these Archons, though, trying to do what they can against these Lings. Very annoying. Good Storm. Kind of hard to see what's going on in there, but you need a Zealot to finish off that Lurker. It's got 10 HP, but it's still dealing full damage. More Lings cruising in. This is looking really bad for this base all of a sudden. There are Lurkers directly on your probe line. This Nexus getting burned down by the Zerglings. The Storm! Not enough to save it. The Nexus goes down. My gosh, Terror, you are an absolute terror. Is he making... maybe C's going to make a push for this third base. Try to go eye for an eye here. He was in such a great position, and then his attack on the 4th base failed. And let's see how he does at this 3rd base here. Honestly, I mean, if there's only one lurker, well, it's dead now. Oh, there's 2 lurkers here. All right. That's a lot of dead lings we're hearing on that one. Drone's going down. It's 27 to 27 workers at the moment. These aren't drop lords. They're just up here for detection, I guess? Sure. They're up here for detection. This Knight Templar has enough energy for a storm. If he doesn't use it on this... There we go. Uses it on that lurker. Doesn't kill it, because you do need 2 storms for that. Once again, complete lack of detection here for C is absolutely murdering him. Like, massacring my boy right now. That's the kind of damage we're seeing. I mean, 3 overlords, that's nice. 72 to 76 supply. And he holds on. He holds on to this 3rd base. Terror has not lost the base yet. And he's killed 2 Nexuses. So he's doing what he can. He was on the back foot there for some time, but he's managed to kill bases. He's managed to kill probes. He's managed to hang on to his own bases despite losing a bunch of drones. But keeping all of these hatcheries alive is really, really useful for recovery purposes. Extra larva. Nobody ever says no to extra larva. So trying to expand up this left side now, which you maybe should have done in the first place, is C. And once again, now that we've got Dark Swarm out, this becomes a lot more difficult for C to handle. He was very happy with no Dark Swarm at all in the first 15 minutes of this match. But things have definitely dramatically and drastically changed here. Top right base getting taken by Terror. Observer sees that happening. Bit of a drone transfer up to that top right-hand base, which is technically a 5th, if you're counting along at home here. By the way, hit that like button if you're enjoying this, because this is one heck of an incredible, incredible game. Hope you're enjoying the Brood War only casts on the channel as well. Let me know if you are. There's the Plague. I knew Plague would be researched. There's the Plague. Ooh, all over. That was so well placed. Just strawberry jammed up all of these dudes. They were treated shame. I don't know if there's enough to defend this 4th base up the left side for C, but I guess we'll see. Ha 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 ha. Man, that jam is still on there. Okay, it's worn off, but look how damaged we are. Look how damaged we are in this group. We are now officially damaged. Quel dommage. No, that's not the French. That means how sad, or I'm sorry, or something. How sad, I believe, is the more literal translation for quel dommage. Plague all over, and the cannons get caught. Oh my goodness. Just, oh goodness. Goodness gracious me. See, now the Dark Swarm, the Lurkers set up. The Zealots don't have the HP to contend with this because they've all been plagued. But the Lurkers can't hit anything, so that's a minor victory. Let's consume a Scourge. Don't see that every day. Because that's gas, man. You need that gas. This is looking really, really dangerous all of a sudden. These Lings are just taking down cannons. The Zealots aren't really responding to it, as it turns out. There we go. They finally do. Man, C's been down so much in this game, and he's up 103 to 87 total supply. Get some Lurker drops back here behind this mineral line, but then the Observer shows up. Trying to Scourge control this. Oh, they get it. How many Observers have died in this game? That's one thing I wish there was. It was tracking for individual units that have been killed. Dark Templar. Up here, the drones are forced to contend. Where did these Zealots come from? Is there a shuttle or something? Did they warp in? Is there Arbiter tech? Man, 30 drones. 30 for Terror, despite being on 4 bases. He's got 30 workers at the moment. Man, this game might just get an epic tag. At the very least, is getting an unofficial Falcon Scrappy tag for just how scrappy it has been. Ultralisk Cavern on the way. Which, okay, I mean, if you're plaguing gateway units and you've got ultras and they have good upgrades, you're probably going to have a good time if you're Terror. And Reaver Tech is out now. So this is where you have Storm and Archons and Reavers. And suddenly Zerglings kind of lose their punch. In a lot of ways. Like Reaver shots just... Pacha! Several Lings die. Another Reaver shot. Pacha! More Zerglings die. Nice Plague on that Reaver though. Overlord taken down. And you know what? He's like, well, let's find some easier pickings. There is a shuttle out. That must have been... It must have been in the neighborhood previously. He's going to try to pick up these DTs and get back into this 4th base. And you know what? I kind of support that idea. Oh, but there's Scourge. Ow. Unload everything. Kablooey. Wait. What were we waiting for? Yeah, man. Terra shutting it down. These Dark Templar are just not accomplishing a whole lot here. No siree, Bob. 113 to 114 supply. It does not bode well for Terror at the moment. These are some really nice, really entrenched defensive positions that C has set up here. He's got 2 mining bases. And yes, there are technically 2 mining bases here for Terror, but that's not ideal. He's mined out of his 3rd. His natural and his main are wastelands of resource ability at the moment, and maybe he'll expand here. Sure seems like he's setting an army up here for reasons that are probably not to attack the natural, but maybe this is a staging ground for that. I don't actually know. See, oh, the drops. Both players going for the Los drops right now. I mean, can he see this? No. Neither player can see that. I mean, not currently, but I assume Terra knows what he's doing. He does. Surprise! Surprise Zerglings and Lurkers! Hey! That's not good for anyone. So no, top left base does not belong to C at all. And once the drops come into play, that is all of a sudden when Zerg gets really scary. They just have an unlimited number of drop chips. Every Overlord they have has the ability to carry 4 Hydralisks in it and a couple Ultralisks. And this one's going to die because it is severely outnumbered in every possible way. But C's not able to take this bottom base. He might go for the top left now that he's chased C out of the neighborhood. This could be one of those games where we see every base taken, which is always a lot of fun. 137 to 127 supply. It's just so many Reavers. And so many Archons. With the 3-3, man. Anabolic Synthesis on the way for them Ultras. Another Plague on a couple of units. One doesn't care. Oh, that's a Nexus that's been plagued. Oh, man, that Nexus is going to be born on fire. Not great. I mean, wow, really? Okay, I mean, if it was just the Reaver, you could probably take it down, but there are like 4 Archons here, man, and Zealots, and Bears and Lions and Tigers. Oh, my. Oh, hold up. Hold up. Unload, unload. 2 Dark Templarlings, not enough. Gonna try to snipe this hatch, get the first hatch kill of the day for C. That seems like that'd be positive for him for sure. Yep. +3 attack does a lot of damage. 50 damage per swipe, and they get it. They get it. They sacrifice their lives for Shakuras and for the Protoss. My gosh, that Dark Templar has 8 kills. He's, well, 11 kills. Not bad. Not too shabby. Crikey, mate. More DT snipes up here at, I guess, what we'll call the 6th. I mean, I guess he had this one too. Just barely, though, I would assume. Anyway, I might have just been blind. So we're going for ultra drops, everyone. Oh my gosh, this probe transfer, though. Why? Why would just naked probe transfer? Ah! I've been killed. I've been killed by that probe destruction. On that weird probe transfer out in the middle of Nowheresville with no escort whatsoever. 33 probes. Like, the number of workers that have died in this game is astronomical. Dude, just toss down some storms. There you go. Toss down one storm, toss down another storm. There you go. Tossing down a storm right here would be good. I don't know if that's a possibility. However, Reaver's doing some big-time hits down below. Archon's doing it as well. Ultralisks trying to jump on top of those Reavers, but Shuttles very sneakily keeping them out of range. This is a rough situation to be in, I think, for both players, but the Ultras decide to leave the field of battle. There's a Defiler here. These Lurkers, man, are doing some work. High Templar joins the party. Storms, largely nothing. Oh, Reaver hits, man. I don't know what these Scourge are trying to do. I guess they're looking for observers, but the detection is being provided by this cannon with all of, like, 12 HP. But it manages to survive anyway. Can you see those? Nope. It's got to be blind storms or maybe sending one of your own zealots up and firing on it with your Reaver. I think he tried it. Look, he's doing it. Oh, no. He was just waiting for the observer to show up. Okay. For a second there, that was almost very cool. What he was trying to do there, I think, was very cool. Yes. More and more Ultralisks cruising across the map. It is only a 111 supply for Terror, though, to 164. The Ultras are scary, but sheer math precludes me from being able to say that Terror has the upper hand here. Yes, he has drop Ultralisks, but guess who has Reavers and Storm and Archons and Zealots? All of these things are good answers to Ultra, as it turns out. What are their upgrades, even? They don't have +3 attack yet. They do have full armor, which is really good. Once again, trying to, like, link drop over here into Reaver Cannon Stormland. That Nexus has 130 HP. It is not happy. It is très mal indeed. Alright, we're gonna Doom Drop this thing and see what we can do. Terror with the Doom Drop. Coming on in to this main base. Little Dark Swarm action that tied you over. But guess who's got Reavers at home? Yeah, that's right. C does. Dude, is C just going to win this game? He's up 175 to 118. It feels like an insurmountable advantage. These Ultras are cute. I mean, they're terrifying. Sorry, I didn't say that out loud. They are terrifying, but against Archon Reaver? That's not what Ultras were built for, man. They were built for, like, killing Dragoons and, like, Zealots with not great upgrades and in smaller numbers. Oh, yeah. 190 to 118 supply. This game is over. Right? I mean, he's holding on to the 6 o'clock base. He's officially mining from 3 total bases right now. It is 3 bases for the Zerg, but being on even base count, even income count against the Protoss, you saw that. The cost efficiency of this particular defense with the Reavers, the Storms, and the Archons is just too much. Being able to overcome this would take, I don't even know. I don't know if there's enough micro in the world to do this. I love the drops, and I've seen many a ZVP won with drops before, right? It makes a lot of sense, all the sense in the world to get drops, but that's when you have more army than this. Like, maybe you're going to be able to kill this base, but that is so many Archons on the ground. A Reaver and a High Templar. You just storm everything as it comes in. You try to kill the Overlords before they accomplish much of anything here. Yes. They're going to get a couple of these cannons and a couple of the Reavers, but the Reaver shots are just too plentiful. The Nexus is going to stay alive. The Ultras are getting creamed right now. And I think, is that it, man? 183 to 116 supply does just not seem like something you come back from. If you're Terror, he made his gambit here. He went after the Nexus. He did some damage to it. Well, maybe he didn't do any damage to it. He plagued it earlier. Got a couple cannons. Got some probes. And yes, this top left base is gonna die. Okay, that's a decent victory here for Terror. But it's a maxed out Protoss. It's a maxed out Protoss right now. And if Terror's going to try to set up in this top left-hand base, I don't see that working for him all that much. Or possibly all that well. Oh, yeah. So the top left gets reclaimed by C just easily. Just raffle stomps his way in here. Immediately tosses up a Nexus. While the Overlords are still here and everything. One of the more satisfying things to do in StarCraft is use Archons to kill Overlords. It just feels like you're popping giant balloons, you know? And that's your good game. Terror taps out. And C is your winner here in 40 minutes and 58 seconds. I gotta say, I did not expect that outcome. C does not quite have the resume that Terror does, right? This is sea.kh. This isn't the other C, who is more decorated. But this is still a Korean Protoss player, C, who did a good job in Africa and ASL. It was like a qualification league for ASL earlier this year. I don't think he actually did anything in ASL, but he did qualify for one of the seasons, I think season 2. And so he's doing all right, but still, I thought for sure Terror had this game. But then suddenly Terror was down. It took him forever to get his Defiler Mound out. His Plague was late. His Dark Swarm was late. His Consume was late. He was so long on 3 bases of just Hydroling and trying to hold off the onslaught of C. He did a good job killing bases, though. I mean, he did snipe this one. He sniped an attempt up top left. He held on to his bases for the most part. Only ever lost this top right one, which he did reestablish. But just overall, just too much entrenched. Too entrenched were ye old Protoss. This might just be a good thumbnail, man. It's Ultras, it's Storm, it's Archons looking awesome inside the Dark Swarm. So cool. Anyway, really great game from C. Kept the pressure up. Corsairs were great. Terror's observer sniping was beautiful. I'm not even sure if there's an observer left on the map right now. I think every observer that was made in the... Oh, never mind. There's one right here. Most of the observers that were made in this game are now dead. So that... yeah, I just really great Protoss win against an elite Zerg player that we've seen kind of just rough up Protoss time and time again on this channel. So it's good to see he's vulnerable. Really put up a good fight. And let's check out that final score. C, man. Maybe I should cast more C. More sea.kh. 40 minutes and 58 seconds, yo. 277,000 points for the Protoss, 255 for the Zerg. Producing 900 to 300 units. Zerg has the advantage, but lost 700 to 200. That is such a big discrepancy. As it always is. Ends up raising a whole ton of Protoss buildings. Not enough. Resources here. It's more minerals, more spent by, man, usually if you outspend your opponent by, 8,000, 9,000 resources, you're going to have a good time. But nah, the cost efficiency of the compositions that C was rolling with was just too much. Just too much indeed. So great job by him. I think he won that game in the mid game and was able to kind of hold on for the next, 20, 25 minutes, which sometimes that's what StarCraft is. So great job by him, and that is going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw, what you heard today. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw, what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. And you take care of yourself.